What's happening, Reject Nation? We're gonna watch from our friends over at New Rockstars Loki trailer breakdown, Easter eggs, TVA, the Time Variance Authority, and DB Cooper explained. I'm excited to check this out. New Rockstars, extremely reliable for the deeper cuts and references, and then the occasional I think you're reaching, but
they acknowledged that.
I think they got this. It's Eric Voss, man. Let's do it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and Loki released its first official trailer at Disney's Investor Day. No Marvel stuff, thank God! A trailer so mischievous and Ragnarok-y, cannonballing into the lore of Marvel history and the
such a cool
unresolved mysteries of real-world history. Turns out DB Cooper wasn't Don Draper, it was Loki, which makes me so damn excited for everything else we're going to attribute to the God of Mischief. Santa equals Loki, probably. Now, I reacted to this glorious trailer in my reaction spree in the past.
Look at those views.
Now we gotta break this thing down frame by frame because there are a ton of Easter eggs. Like, think about it, folks. I got 9 minutes out of 2 seconds back in February. Imagine what I can do now. Let's get started. The trailer opens with familiar shots of Avengers Endgame when the Avengers revisited Loki's arrest during the time heist. But Tony Stark butterfingered the Tesseract, allowing Loki to escape. Now we see where he went through a Bifrost-esque blast through space. Now we even end it by passing through what looks like the Eye of Heimdall, as past trips to the Bifrost have.
Dude, Eric, you're already blowing my mind.
Tesseract functions similarly to the Bifrost, because until now there have been at least 2 different forms of magic in the MCU, one an Infinity Stone, the other All-Father magic, that both do the same thing, allow teleportation from anywhere in the universe. But this Bifrost imagery suggests to me that those 2 magics might really be linked, as many of us have suspected. Odin did possess that Tesseract for millennia, and according to children's books and the Thor movie, he only crossed that rainbow bridge when he was bringing the Tesseract to Norway back in the old days. So maybe Odin derived that Bifrost power from that stone. Oh, look at me going on about the technicalities of the science of the MCU when there's a whole trailer to break down. I got it, Odin, I'm moving on.
This is sand.
Okay, Loki has crash landed in what I assume to be the Gobi Desert of Mongolia based on the people who come across him. Now, I mentioned this in the reaction, but Loki's crash in the dune definitely evokes Tony Stark's crash landing after escaping that cave in Afghanistan. The moment Mr. Stark followed Plato's allegory of the cave to escape his narrow worldview to a place of enlightenment, as Loki is now given a second chance at life to do. But it's interesting that Loki crashed. He is an experienced Bifrost traveler, and with the Space Stone, he should have nimbly navigated to whatever destination he wanted to go. But he doesn't have the Tesseract anymore here, so either this is from a different scene or something interfered with that travel, knocked the Tesseract away from him, causing him to crash out at the nearest Mongolian off-ramp. Next clip.
Uh-oh. There's a lot to get here now. There's a lot to get here.
That's the whole script.
Do it, Eric. Do it.
You're taking me somewhere to kill me.
Break down the letters.
Studio's title card appears in a sea of L's, O's, K's, and I's, all different typefaces, like the ones that flicker at the end. I'll get to those. It's a really cool way to show the countless alternate timelines and historical causalities this series would play with. It also reflects the way Loki's remains would have been left in the main MCU timeline, if you think about it, floating in space among hundreds of dead Asgardians. But then we find ourselves in this elevator shaft of what I assume to be the TVA, Time Variance Authority, aka Marvel's Time Cops. Actually, that sounds cooler than it is. Really, the TVA is like a bureaucracy of timeline monitors. They oversee and investigate violations across the various Marvel timelines. They hate Kang. The Avengers meddled with the timelines big time in Endgame, but Loki, as the escapee from one of those meddling, he would be the evidence of those violations that the TVA can now detain. Actually, the real-world location here is the eye-popping mirror-looking floors of the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta. And I love how it implies each floor is a kind of different timeline in the multiverse, with the floor buttons each represented with a 3-character alphanumeric code: J3E, IUL, FE3, LK3, 2W1, FHF, VG2, U77, TE7, GYE, 2WE, 3FG, CET, XN1, TSL, GF3. If there is a rhyme or reason to these, it's too soon to tell. I'm sorry. It really just means
Why'd you name all of them?
But the fact that there are 3 characters is worth noting, because if you think about it, they're going through different realities. Maybe each floor designates the 3 coordinates of 3 axes in space. X, Y, and Z, 3 dimensions. But the elevator moves across these, and if you think that would be a 4th dimension, the axis of time, the one axis that connects 3-dimensional space in Einstein's theory of relativity. Am I breaking your brain? I'm sorry. Really?
Yeah, you are. I got a headache now.
Are symbols down the middle. There is a circle with a line going through it, Ghostbusters style, an X, 3 parallel lines, and a little happy face.
A little happy clock.
These directs how this time Wonkavator travels across those timelines. It could stop or freeze a timeline dead in its tracks. It could crisscross timelines. It could reset timelines to run parallel without interference. And then one where it's just like, surprise me. Let me know what these are. Let's move on.
No, I'll take you someplace to talk. Well, I don't like to talk. But you do like to lie, which you just did. Because we both know you love to talk. How long have you been here? I don't know, it's hard to say. You know, time passes differently here in the TVA. What does that mean? You'll catch up.
Okay, Loki is detained as a prisoner in this. He wears a TVA
So great to see
jumpsuit
Owen
and his
Wilson
collar.
here.
I believe that says danger, maybe explosive collar. He is with Owen Wilson's character. The closed captions reveal his name to be Mobius M. Mobius. Love it. That name is actually the most recurring manager of the TVA in the comics. They all have goofy names. The name Mobius does come from the same impossible geometric shape that Tony Stark conceptualized to crack the code of time travel in Endgame.
This time in the shape of a Mobius.
Oh! Cool! Eric! Cool! I love the MCU. It's so tied in.
From Loki aging normally to being beyond time itself. And the fact that Mobius is about to show him the end of his timeline in an alternate life. Are you confused? You'll catch up.
When Eric crafted this one, he's like, this will be my masterpiece.
Joke pun masterpiece breakdown.
Look at the background. There is someone wearing Elizabethan garb, it looks like. This could be just a Ren fair, but since we know this show is hopping through time, I think these chronomonitors are hunting down a time fugitive. And I think the one they seek is this hooded figure who drops the lantern, attacks the chronomonitor. And the reaction, I speculated this could be someone like Dr. Doom, since Richard E. Grant is going to be playing some kind of villainous character in this show. But based on this person's hands, I think this could be Sophia DiMartino's character, who I speculated in a set photo breakdown earlier this year could be Loki, based on how Loki's soul was transferred to a female body after the comics Ragnarok event. Maybe there is an alternate timeline where Loki is in a female form, and
because people thought that was Black Widow, but
has to try to hunt down and stop in a plea deal to clear his criminal record with the TVA. Stop the even more evil version of yourself, and you can walk free. Moving on.
ooh, that would be fascinating.
It's like Jet Li's the one.
You have to hunt yourself.
So Loki is brought before this awesome-looking courtroom. 3 looming faces, and this judge that is played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw. She could be one of the known justices of the TVA. There's Justice Peace, Justice Love, Justice Goodwill, but those 3 faces, I believe, are the same faces that we see in the giant statues in the interior courtyard. I'm wondering if these figures could be connected to the multiple faces, multiple identities of the Living Tribunal, the cosmic deity judge that oversees the universe. Like perhaps the Living Tribunal is the Chief Justice who oversees these lower level justices. Because notice behind Loki, you can see on the wall it reads 3 Time Court. The Time Court meaning there are other types of court. These aren't just the TVA courts in this building, so there's probably some higher level judge overseeing other kinds of cosmic crimes. Also notice how later in the trailer, she and the chronomonitors brandish these
are you,
batons.
Eric?
These reminded me of the staff of the Living Tribunal that Mordo showed Doctor Strange in Camartage.
This is the staff of the Living Tribunal.
Otherwise, why would you use a simple baton like this? Why would that be the weapon of choice? Now, the floors of this facility contain vast stacks of books, which is another interesting parallel with Kamar-Taj if you think about it. That confined all of its mystic, cosmic, multiversal wisdom into tangible book hard copies. Mobius and Loki use his projector to beam up Loki from past MCU moments, his arrest in the first Avengers movie, which this Loki would have just experienced, but also this famous Loki pose, which he actually makes in Ragnarok.
Your savior is here!
Which is odd because this Loki would not have lived that yet. Ragnarok was like 5 years after this. This tells us that Loki would have played out in that alternate timeline. And notice when Loki turns away uncomfortable, we can assume that Mobius is showing him his death in the grip of Thanos in Infinity War. A moment I too have used to trigger some cringes. I'm sorry. Here, chronometers approach this Roxxcart store in the pouring rain.
Like Roxxon?
This is probably the scene we saw the set photos of earlier this year. Roxxcart has the same ROXX
like
suffix
Roxxon.
as Roxxon, the energy conglomerate that has appeared in the background of past Marvel films. I'm wondering if that oil company might have branched out in the future into retail, like other science fiction has shown. You know, the futuristic Buy and Large store that ruined Earth and Wall-E. Notice these troopers appear to come from these glowing doors. These could be the portals through which they travel through time.
Nice, good catch.
Elevator doors look like on the other side. Now, watching them on the
Good catch.
that we saw earlier. Again, I do think that's DiMartino, possibly Lady Loki, whom we know from set photos was part of this sequence. But notice near Patio Goods is that roaming robot. Maybe it's a waste bin or a floor cleaner, or even a future version of those creepy robots that stack stuff and report spills that exist in supermarkets right now. I hate those things. They're always leaving me when I buy cookie dough. I know you're just going to eat it raw. Shut up. Loki lands back in this elevator door-lined room, frustrated as if he just tried to escape the TVA, but then was just circled right back to the starting point. Now, this red gate and the floor underneath it have these blast streaks. This could be the portal that activates where in time these elevator doors take you. And if you're like, I love how the portal is just powered by a tangled mess of wires. Everything's so messy and stupid. It's awesome and Douglas Adams-y. Now, there is a good shot that I find interesting. Mobius is receiving some kind of
it looks like
touch
Mephisto.
from this young child. This could be Lady Loki as a young girl. And that stained glass behind them depicts some demonic figure. This could be Mephisto.
Hey!
To appear in
I'm rarely on the same page as you. Not as you, but to keep up with you.
Thanos spiking the moon in Infinity War. Obviously, this isn't the same moon. And this planet doesn't look like Titan. But, you know, that purple glow definitely reminds me of the way he used the purple Power Stone energy to shatter that moon before he threw it. Either way, sitting below, waiting for this death Melancholia style by a pair of runoff pipes. Some believe this was Natasha Romanoff. No. This is Sophia DiMartino's character. Maybe we are seeing her at the very end of her timeline after the universe has just been wiped out. Next clip. Okay, here we see Loki standing up in the midst of a similar post-apocalyptic chaos, but that is devastated New York behind him, including
Avengers Tower.
Oh, boop.
Thanos' first attack on New York, the Chitauri fleet was actually successful. And then we see the airport.
Oh, interesting.
As a bag of money is transferred to this flight attendant as Loki watches on. In shades, yes, Loki is D.B. Cooper here. In case you don't know who D.B. Cooper is, he is the infamous Mystery Man, if that was even his name. In 1971, he extorted a $200,000 ransom and he hijacked Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 from Portland to Seattle. And then he parachuted out and was never found. All they found of him was a few banknotes found on the Columbia River. I love this story, and I love that Loki is digging into it.
Dude, that's cool.
This series is going to use Loki's
historical
timeline
fiction,
to justify all these crazy mysteries of human history. Maybe they're going to say all the Mandela effect occurrences that have come up, whether the Berenstein Bears or Sinbad being in a genie movie. All of these could have just been caused by Loki's rifts in the timeline. There's a really cool one of these that comes up at the end of the trailer. Stay tuned. Loki then runs on the surface of that same purple planet as the moon looms down down on them toward this interesting looking shack. It is stamped with the number 21. Now his jacket reads variant. Maybe the TVA agents have to wear certain clothes when they explore these variant timelines, like the Adjustment Bureau with that hat rule. And then Loki swings this woman around. This setting does look familiar to me. The architecture is similar to Hermitage, though those are Roman numerals behind them. LXXIX, it looks like that would be 79. Kind of like that number 21 on the shack. Maybe the TVA access points are numbered in whatever the historical numerical system is. Now, the craziest set of this trailer is this red and white striped room, vines overgrowing everything. I'm assuming this is some kind of Loki throne room because there is a throne with an L over it. But this place is a total shit show. There's a shower stall, there's lamps, there's all kinds of odds and ends. It's like a junkyard. It honestly kind of feels like an evil lair that a future version of Loki has crafted for himself after screwing over a bunch of timelines and hoarding random crap from it. But by screwing up all those things like 1985 B Biff, Loki gets to be president in this one. Also, notice how one of the fighters swings a weapon that looks like a knockoff Mjolnir. Like in this version, his Thor counterpart is this underling. Next clip.
You best be ready.
Yeah. Here is Loki's amazing DB Cooper jump with Heimdall catching him with a Bifrost. That explains it. So it does kind of sound like Idris Elba's Heimdall is back alive again, which does make sense, right? Because in these alternate timelines, Infinity War has not yet happened. And I love how they leave a few bills behind, the ones authorities would have found in the river. Perfect. Next clip.
That's so clever.
Come on. What did you expect?
These flickering typefaces reflect the alternate time periods and timelines the show will hop in and out of. There's floor wallpaper, caked weathered stone, scratched gold, wooden paneling. But what I love about a lot of these, you can actually match these letters together, as there exist versions of the Loki title where it's all wooden or all emeralds. It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube with all these different letters.
Oh, neato.
Trying to line up the typefaces, but unable to agree
Oh,
on the way to
neato.
and be like, I'm a collage, whatever, shut up. Now, we end with Loki suited up with this Loki for President button. This is a nod to the 2016 Vote Loki comic series, in which Loki runs for president on the platform that he had the guts to lie to everyone. It's a great series, you gotta check it out. Now, his traitorous companions are delightfully costumed. One wears a license plate shirt, one has a helmet with silverware sticking out. The guy on the far right has a helmet with curved bike handlebars. But then, this arcade game, my favorite detail.
Polybius!
Polybius.
Yes!
Oh, if you don't know about this, like DB Cooper, Polybius is another element deeply rooted in American urban legend.
What?
Specifically Portland-related ones. The game itself never existed, or did it? In the early 2000s, internet forums began to talk about how there was this game called Polybius in 1981 in the Portland suburbs that caused psychoactive and addictive effects in whoever played it. And that these game boxes were later visited by mysterious men in black who gathered data from the machines. Problem is, there was no actual evidence of this game ever really existing. It's just one of these fun internet stories. But now we have the evidence. It was Loki. It was always Loki. Yeah, Polybius is just another great example of how this Loki series is plugging in the god of mischief into the mischief and unexplained phenomena of history. And I am here for it. Look, I'm going to be breaking down all of the trailers we got at Disney's Investor Day, but there's a lot to talk about. Thank you for your patience. Check out our great merch options at NewRockstarsMerch.com. Subscribe to New Rockstars, hit that notification button, follow me at EA Boss, follow New Rockstars. See you next time. Bye.
Oh, it's good. So you just start off with the easiest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the easiest one. You got it out of the way. let me warm up with Loki, and then I'll get the really complicated ones out of the way.
Yeah.
My God. First 5 minutes of this, I was like, am I watching Tenet again? Oh no.
That's what the show's gonna leave you more confused than when we started. What is the timeline?
Marvel's getting freaking weird, and I love it. I love it. They're using their shows to get super duper bizarre. In the same way how I love how DC has used that to their advantage with shows like Doom Patrol to get wild, wacky, bizarre, and weird. It looks like they're really doing that with all their shows. One thing I really took notice of is, because I didn't notice that stained glass until moments before Eric pointed it out here with Mephisto. It seems like they're really building to the supernatural hell world of Mephisto. I mean, we're here are rumors and speculations about it being linked in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Really strong theories that he's really the villain, the ultimate endgame villain of WandaVision series as well. Ghost Rider they're working on getting here.
Blade's coming up.
It just seems like Mephisto's the one they're really building.
It seems like the next wave. It's like we're already kind of knees deep, waist deep in the magic and time travel side of the universe, and now it's time to really rouse the hellish.
I gotta say though, Eric, wow, my head kind of hurts after this one. It really does. Like there's just so much details. This is like a masterpiece of breakdowns. I'm like, oh my god, we're only at the Marvel logo and we're 5 minutes into the video.
There's lots of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff to wrap your head around.
I don't how this is the first time I had to like question Eric's mind. How does this guy's brain work?
And how late were you up just cackling to yourself before you fell asleep out of pure exhaustion?
I mean, we've been on New Rockstars a couple of times. It's videos like this why I'm always intimidated before we go on of like, I just gotta have fun. because I don't know how you, like, how'd you, oh my god.
Actually,
that was just in my head this whole time. Like, the science, the philosophy, the comics, the previous movies, my god, the Mobius call. The Mobius call.
M. Mobius, yeah, for the inverted strip.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And I love whenever, like, oh my god, MCU had that planet here the whole time.
And that feels like a true Easter egg.
Oh, absolutely. Something I never picked up on. I never even learned about, or maybe I didn't. My mind just forgot it. But that's what I mean. It's like, how do you remember?
Yeah.
How do you, like, you can't just all be Google searches or do, like,
Eric's
how
not
do
a real
you...
human being. They unplug him at the end of every day to let him cool down before plugging him back in again.
He knows to look at it. And the editors for New Rockstars get this up.
I'm like,
how did you do this? How'd you get this done?
What is your eyesight like? Like when you're watching a trailer, where is your eye focusing? Because mine's usually on the face of whatever the subject character is, and I have a feeling that yours is like inside out peripheral vision where you see everything on the edges first.
Too much. I mean, good catch on the Mongolian crash at the beginning, because I did think of the Iron Man similarities. Yeah, he should have transported there smoothly, and so I am wondering if it is from a different moment. But from what I gathered from your breakdown alone, it did have me thinking of all the different weirdness they're gonna be exploring, but how this will also complement the other series that are coming out. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier seems like the most straightforward one, whereas something like with the What Ifs and WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness being the movie that's going to deal with a lot of reality manipulation and such, it seems like Loki is kind of like this hybrid of What Ifs and WandaVision. The What If scenarios between what you've seen here, like with the Avengers Tower in ruins, of possibly a Loki timeline where he did win at the events of Avengers Assemble, or a situation
where he has to track down Lady Loki or something like that.
And I love that. If they do, like, I heard Lady Loki would be in the show, and then when I saw the trailer the other day, it did have me thinking that was probably Lady Loki. Yes, I didn't believe any of those theories going around that it would be Black Widow. I didn't even think about that in terms of that's who he'd be hired to hunt, is the Lady Loki after the events of Ragnarok. That could explain why they're showing him footage of of Ragnarok, and this is the outfit you sport, and then eventually you die. Before that, this version of you formed, or maybe after his death, this version of him formed, the spiritual female version of him came to be, and that's who he has to hunt down now. And I really love that concept. If Lady Loki is the person he has to hunt down, he's the only one who can do it. That just sounds like damn good television, if you ask me, man.
I mean, because it's like you have your main character going up against somebody who probably has a lot of the same tricks up their sleeve, who knows them inside and out, at least from like a spiritual point. And then you also have the personal aspect of like, you're also me. How do I deal with that? And it seems like a good potential.
I don't know what Lady Loki's personality is really gonna be like, because at least in these little images that we're getting, it seems so ominous. Ooh, who is this? Whereas Loki, we know, is the god of mischief. I don't know if she's gonna have that same level of glee. We'll see right now. As far as what we're getting so far, it looks cool. I So yeah, my main takeaways would be the Lady Loki plot, the amount of crazy manipulation and what if scenarios we're going to be seeing going on. I love the historical fiction filling in the time gap stuff. I didn't know the DB Cooper story, and I saw that was like our top comment on our reaction was Loki was DB Cooper. I didn't know who DB Cooper was, and he explained it here. And then the arcade game,
Polybius, yeah.
That's awesome. It's so Rick and Morty like.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite remnants of working in like horror-based print media was we would always like throughout the month mine those exact kinds of stories, like this weird video game that has a conspiracy around it. And what you find out is there are tons of those in our history, and that's one thing that honing in on, they are like the mischief of history to me in a way, in the way that they're engrossing. And so I love that aspect coming in here too. Like it looks like you could have something that is very in the Marvel know with Lady Loki potentially at least. And also I like that he mentioned Kang the Conqueror too, because you know we know he's coming to the MCU and is an issue for the Time Variance Authority. They're going to be doing a lot of crossing over and stuff like that, so I wonder too how that's going to play in. But yeah, it really does feel like you're encapsulating both the mischief side and some of the grit that'll use Tom Hiddleston's chops, you know.
I'm a big fan of the series Umbrella Academy. Season 2 reactions all up on YouTube, and in that show they have a character named Five. Within that world, there is something kind of similar to the TVA called the Bureau. They monitor timelines and stuff. What I notice whenever we do a lot of timeline stuff, what we usually do is go into like the JFK thing. That's usually like who really killed JFK? What happened there? And even Umbrella Academy explores. That's like a big part of the season 2 plot. Here, I love that they're doing a little bit more deeper cut ones.
Yeah.
Well, once you're like, I don't know DB Cooper. I mean, I know a lot of you guys do, but I don't. Or this arcade game, like these smaller things to explore. Maybe they will do the JFK thing. I love that they're going to be having more fun and doing all these other avenues as well. As it stands, man, this one blew my mind. Like, this is one I'd have to keep rewatching because when you start getting into numbers and math and all that, I'm like, I'm lost.
It's okay.
My mind just starts going.
Decode.
You're stupid, Greg. You're stupid.
Decode all the elevator buttons, and we'll be the ones, and then you will come to our video, Eric Voss.
All right, guys. Well, subscribe to New Rockstars if you haven't done so already. Trust me, with all the hype of all these movies coming out, they're the channel to go to. Click that notification bell for us. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Last but not least. Flev Doran, a friend I've been happy to get to know a lot more as of late. He lives in Romania, and over there, they have this holiday they celebrate that he informed me about. It's kind of like a combination of Halloween and Christmas. Called Saint Nicholas, where kids get lots of candy in their boots, so he's gonna spoil his nephew. Got some birthdays coming up. There's a whole bunch of celebrations of, Christmas, New Year's. So many things for him to celebrate right now. So Flev, with that in mind, I hope you have an amazing holiday season. I hope you don't blow your hand off with all the fireworks you're planning on setting off.
Shoot your eye out, kid.
I just want you to have a great time with your family, to keep on bonding, because that's what matters most this time of year. It's been a rough year for everyone. Based off your enthusiastic message that you sent my way, I'm happy to, it's crazy to feel such energy and positivity being received from text. That's rare. I love your enthusiasm, buddy, and Merry Christmas, or Happy St. Nicholas. I don't know what the hell you guys say to you and your whole family. You have a great one, and get some New Year's resolutions in mind. Maybe get some ass implants. Yeah!